Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys we are going to be doing a deck profile of a deck that I've been wanting to profile for a while on this channel, and I was going to do it, but then I had to wait for a reprint, and that reprint was Pot of Extravagance. And now that Pot of Extravagance has been reprinted, we are now able to do a deck profile of this deck, and that is the Space Alien deck, or which I believe it's based off of is Gradius the game. Now, I know the BES archetype is based off Gradius. I know that for a fact. I think the Victory Vipers and all that, that's based off Gradius as well. I know it's another Konami type of game it's based off of. But it's one of those decks that I've always wanted to do a deck profile of. And two reasons I had put this on the back burner. Number one, Konami actually just randomly a couple sets ago gave random support to this deck. You would say, what? Really? In 2019 they did? In 2020? Yes, they did. And then on top of that, Pot of Extravagance, I was waiting for a reprint. So this deck is really fun. It's a really battle-oriented deck. It's not meta, but it is super fun to play because it's very unique. And with links being a thing in Yu-Gi-Oh!, this deck actually got a little bit of a boost because you can use the tokens that it creates for link plays. Especially, you can work your way up from level 2 link monsters to level 3 to level 4. It's very easy to do in this deck, and it's super fun to play around with. And then you can also just go for generic rank 4s if you want to. So the deck has a bunch of different ways you can take it when you play it. Now I'm going to go over the effects of each of the monsters because you probably are looking at this deck profile and saying, I have no idea how this deck works. I have no idea what the effects are. So I want to go into this deck very much in detail. So let's get started on this deck. So first off, we run pretty much, I'm not going to call it a boss monster of the deck, but it's very nice. It's a nice card. And that's Victory Viper XX03. Awesome card name, right? So what does Victory Viper do? This is probably, I think this is the only foil monster in the entire deck besides like Ash Blossom and Hand Traps. But Victory Viper, if you guys don't know what it does, I'll read it to you. When this card destroys an opponent's monster as a result of battle, select one of the following effects. Increase the attack of this card by 400 points. Alright. Destroy one face-up spell or trap card on the field. That's cool. Special summon one option token to your side of the field. It always has the same type, attribute, level, attack, and defense as this card. So you see, you run over a monster, you destroy something, okay, then I can either do this, this, or this, and bring out a token. Maybe I want to link play up into something else. You see how this is starting to work now, kind of. Now, granted, like I said, it's a very battle-oriented deck, so we run cards that help out with that. So next we run the newer card, which is kind of like a pseudo hand trap, which is Vic Viper T301. This is a newer card that came out not too long ago. You probably saw this in a pack that you opened up and were like, I didn't even know this was part of this archetype. Now you know. So, yes. Also keep in mind, guys, as you look through this deck profile, you're going to see level 4s. A lot of level 4s that work with this deck, which is the reason why we run level 4 Exceed plays. So Vic Vipe T301 is pretty nice. It's kind of like a pseudo hand trap. When an attack is declared involving face-up monsters, involving your face-up monster and an opponent's monster, you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field. Alright? You can only use this effect of Vic Viper T301 once per turn. Other light machine monsters you control gain 1,200 attack. Ah, see, it's kind of like its own little Honest in the deck, right? The fact that these are all lights means you can run Honest because it's a battle-based deck, and then you have 3 more Honest, pretty much. This is kind of like a pseudo Honest. It's not as good as Honest, but it's just as good, which is really nice. So I like this card as a 3 of. It's a staple in the deck as a 3 of, hands down. Really gave the deck something it needed, because you can use it after it's been used for that. You can use it for link plays. You can use it for whatever you want to. You can go for a generic unicorn and spin something back and just clear boards with it. There's some cool little plays you can do. Next, we run, for all my UK friends from the UK, we run the most British name for a Yu-Gi-Oh card, Lord British Space Fighter. Yes, Lord British Space Fighter. stand up and applaud, all my British friends, all my UK friends. Yes, they have a card with this name. So this card's really cool. It's a card that came out in 5Ds. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, select and activate one of these effects. You can once again you can attack again once in a row. That's cool. Select and destroy one set card on the field. That's neat. Special summon one token. Da 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 da. So token generation, popping cards, cool little effects. Attack again, do more damage. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, this card's really nice. It's a staple 3 of, in my humble opinion. Next we run Falcon B. Now, if you notice, these are rares because these originally came out as rares in 5Ds. And I was going through my commons box, and that's why I built this deck, because I found these in my commons box. So I kind of max rarity this deck, if that's even possible, which is kind of funny. But Falcon B is really cool here because of its effect. I'm going to read to you guys what this Falcon B does. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, select and activate one of these effects. Send one light machine type monster with 1,200 or less attack from your deck to your graveyard. So it's kind of like an Armageddon Knight for the deck, which is neat. Special summon one light machine type monster with 1,200 or less attack from your graveyard. So this card is really nice because of the, like I was just explaining, it can do multiple different things. Now, it's probably one of the few that's not battle oriented, but it's good for that reason because you can do graveyard setup. So maybe you have a face down Call of the Haunted. Okay, I can send something to the graveyard and bring it back. Or if I already have something engraved, because it's maybe, you know, turn 3, turn 4, if you're still alive by then, you can bring something back. And then you can go off. And maybe you can do a link play because there's a random token on the field. And then you get where this is going right here, right? It's really cool. So Falcon B is a staple 3 of. You could run it as a 2 of if you want to. That's up to you to decide though. Next we run Blue Tea Thunder 45. Now this is the old school. For anybody that used to play this card back in the day, this card is really cool because Blue Tea Thunder 45 used to be actually a beatdown deck. And doing Battle Pack days, when Battle Pack was a thing, this card was awesome. But this card actually saw some meta play for a little bit as a tech option back in like the day. But Blue Tea Thunder is really nice. It's another token generator card. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, special summon one Thunder option token. Machine type, da 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 da. This token can't be tributed for a special summon. Well, we're not tributing for a monster. You can't tribute the token, but we can link play with it. Haha! Old cards become broken with link monsters. Yep. Then we have Jade Knight. Now, Jade Knight is kind of like a floater for the deck. So, well, Falcon Knight pretty much helps set up plays, reborn cards, resources that you have. Jade Knight is kind of like a pseudo, it's a floater for the deck. Now, granted, it's a battle effect, so if you want to run less of it, that's perfectly fine. But from playtesting, I liked it as a 3 of at the end of the day. I'm going to be honest with you. So what does Jade Knight do? Face-up machine-type monsters you control with 1,200 or less attack can't be destroyed by effects of trap cards. That has come into play in some instances, I will admit that. When this face-up card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can add one level 4 light machine-type monster from your deck to your graveyard. So it says destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard. So that's the reason why I said it's a little bit slow. So if you wanted to run 2 of it, or maybe just as a tech option, that's fine. But from playtesting, it's really nice. People are not going to waste effects to just send this back to the deck, or like bounce it or something. Rarely will they do that. They're not going to waste a unicorn on this. They're not going to waste a Cerberus effect on this, most likely. I've had it happen once in a blue moon. But they're not going to do that. They're going to use it for something else. So it's usually going to get its effect off. And even if you're going first, you just set it and then you go off, that's perfectly fine. So I like it as a 2 of, and it's another rank 4 to help go for plays. But like I said, you can play around with the ratio if you want to. Again, like I said, pretty much if you look at the deck, this is your Falcons and everything. These are all light monsters. So I wanted to go over all the effects so you guys understand a little bit about how this deck works. It's a battle-based deck, which is another reason, because even though we were talking about the other card that's kind of like an Honest, we will also run 3 Honest because this is a battle-based deck and they're all light attributes. So technically, along with running the 3 Honest and also running your 3 Vic Vipe T103, you're pretty much running a total of 6 Honest-esque cards in this deck. Technically, you're actually running, if you want to get really technical, because we're running Ash Blossom, you're technically running 6, 7, 8, 9 hand traps, technically. Very hand trap oriented, because Honest is technically a hand trap, the Viper is technically a hand trap, and then you have the hand trap of the hand traps, which is Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs. Now, if you wanted to run something else, be my guest. You could run Ghost Ogre, you could run DD Crow, whatever you want to do, go right ahead. But you can run Ash Blossom if you have it, because it's just going to help you out against powerful, decks, just to slow them down a little bit. So Ash Blossom's a 3 of. Then we run 3 limit removal. Everything's machine. Just pretty much everything in your main deck is machine. And while this deck it's more of a main deck oriented deck, you would think, oh, don't you go for the extra deck a lot? Yes, you do, but it's really going to be focused more on the main deck, to be honest. The extra deck is there in case you need to go for link plays and this and that, but you're going to be doing a lot of your damage with your main monsters. So that's why we run 3 limit removal, because if you look, pretty much most of your main deck, except, the monsters are going to be doing stuff with machine, 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 machine. All machines. So for that reason, we run 3 limit removal, because it's really going to help pave the way to get around stuff. And hey, it can win games for you too. Like with Lord British Space Fighter, there's been some crazy plays I've won games because I've limit removal on this and then attacked a monster, run over it, then attack again and go for game. So yes, definitely a staple 3 of, in my opinion. Next up, we run 3 Moon Mirror Shield. Now, there's other cards out there you could run, but I want to run 3 Moon Mirror Shield because this deck is fully battle-based, and the fact for that reason is you need to run over your opponent's monsters no matter what. So you can run other type of equip cards if you want to that I've run in other decks that you've seen recently, but I prefer Moon Mirror Shield as a 3 of because I equip it, I'm going to run over that monster. I'm going to get the effects off. I'm going to be able to do my plays. So, staple 3 of, in my humble opinion. Next, I run 3 Pot of Extravagance. This is going to give you a little bit of draw power to the deck, which is nice. It's something the deck needs because it doesn't have generic draw power. So 3 Pot of Extravagance, run it. 1 Monster Reborn to help reborn things from graveyard. It's nice as a 1 of. In addition to that, for your traps, you run 3 Call of the Haunted. And the reason I'm running Call of the Haunted and not back to the front is because I want my monsters to be in face-up attack position, no matter what. So 3 Call by the Haunted. It's pretty staple. And then lastly, guys, we run 3 Infinite Impermanence. Now, I will say you could run Storming Mirror Force if you don't have Infinite Impermanence because you can. It's a battle-based deck, so you can bounce everything back and then do things. But I found that I wanted a little bit more negation instead, so I ran Infinite Impermanence and 3 Call by the Haunted. But Storm Forth does work well in the deck. Not Storm Forth, excuse me. Storming Mirror Force works well in the deck. So you could run that instead, but 3 Infinite and 3 Call by the Haunted as well. So that's the main deck, guys. We'll get on to the extra deck now and talk about that for a bit. So next up, we have our Dark Magician Girl Field Center. We have your just generic rank 4s here, which are pretty straightforward. I'm going to be honest with you. You got your, these are very generic. You got your Castell, the Sky Musketeer, your number 60, your Abyss Dweller, your number 41 Bagasucha, your Evil Swarm Exoton Knight, your also your Tornado Dragon. So this is all generic stuff right here. We also run under Clock Taker, Phoenix, double Cerberus, because Cerberus I found I was going for out of all the Link monsters the most. So because of Extravagance, I ran double of this. You can run something else if you want to, but double Extravagance. And also 1 Unicorn as well. So you have your Nightmare package and just your generic under Clock Taker, which you can do with cute little plays. For your more expensive cards, Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of Chaos, Bull Sword Dragon, Appaloosa, and also Axis Code Tarker as well. So these are just your big level 4s and level 3s. You also have your generic stuff. So you'll pretty much be good no matter what, guys. But that's your Link monsters. That's your extra deck in a nutshell. The deck is very fun to play, guys. Like, you're going to start playing with it. And the fact is, it's a battle-based deck. And there's really no battle-based decks left in Yu-Gi-Oh! Really. There's like, when was the last time you played a deck that was really based around the battle phase? probably a little bit of time since you've done that. I bet it wasn't just yesterday. It's probably been maybe a couple months to a year maybe that you've built that type of deck. And so it was really fun to play with that because those decks don't exist anymore. And this deck actually functions pretty well. So I believe, like I said, it's based off Gradius. I think that's what this deck is based off of. If I'm wrong, please forgive me. I'll do my research before I post the deck profile to put what it's based off of. But I know the BES deck is definitely based off Gradius, and that's going to be a deck that I'm going to be working on because I already have all the cards, and thank you for putting Pot of Extravagance, Konami, because now I can do deck profiles of decks that I've been just sitting on for over a year. So take care, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and remember to subscribe to the channel. Good luck dueling to all of you guys. Seto Kaiba out.